welcome you and your child to come and walk around, browse around, look around and ask questions. You're more than welcome. For Debbie, unfortunately, she's our HOD at Ruimsig, that she doesn't have sound. But Debbie, you can just nod if I say something or say no, it's not the right thing to do. But if there's something you would like to add, please chat as well. And I would like to ask you as parents, I'm sure if you would like to raise a hand, or and Louise can make you live, and you can even ask the question if you think you can't type quick enough. But I'm not going to say anything more. As Anne-Louise said, you've seen quite a lot of video clips already. If there's questions, we would love to answer it. And then I'm sure I'll be able to elaborate on that as well. So thank you and enjoy the morning, and please ask questions. It makes it so much nicer if we've got you participating and working with us. In one of our previous virtual open days, even the children ask questions. So you're welcome. If the little one's sitting next to you, let him or her ask us, because there must be something that they want to know as well. Thank you.
And good morning from Debbie there in the chat box. Thank you. We are so sorry that you don't have sound. Okay, so if you've got any questions, please do type it in the Q&A box or raise your hand, and we can start interacting. It's a really nice small group, so please feel free to chat live. Debbie, I would have normally asked you to do a little introduction so we can warm up some questions. Then I don't know if you are able to take that over.
Not a problem. Okay. So parents, I'm 100% sure if you're joining us this morning, obviously you know where Ruimsig is located. If not, you can ask Anne-Louise and we'll quickly send you a link or a pin, drop you a pin so that you know where it is. But yes, Ruimsig Academy is a school that was taken over about 1.5 years ago by Alma Mater International School, which is in Krugersdorp. Alma Mater is one of the only Cambridge primary, well, I really can't say pre-primary, and I'll explain that now to you, primary schools on the West Rand. And we've then acquired Ruimsig Academy. It was so far the most wonderful experience, because we can see the growth. We can see the growth in our children, in our staff, and how and what a magnificent and great difference the Cambridge curriculum makes in the school. Just maybe to tell you that Debbie is also one of the Alma Mater staff that's gone over to Ruimsig, obviously due to her experience that she has in Cambridge. So yes, now pre-primary, obviously, we without a doubt need to prepare those little ones to go to grade 1 and to be 100% on par and ready for the Cambridge curriculum, which is not the easiest curriculum. But I can tell you, we've had a search as far and as much as we could, and that is the only curriculum that we would love to do, and that is the Cambridge, because we know what difference it makes in a child's life. So our little ones need to be in the pre-primary, but obviously, as you know, a tiny one, a little 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old child needs so much preparation before they can really start with formal education. And that is exactly why we've got our pre-primary at Ruimsig. It's so important for us to, and if we could, that's the most wonderful part, is our grade 1s should come out of the Ruimsig pre-primary, because then we know the grade 1 teacher can just start and carry on with those children with formal education. So in the pre-primary, and I would like to mention to you that it's grown tremendously. We just started it with a grade R, and then thank goodness for that, it's been expanding and growing. So we've got 4 zeros, 3 zeros, double zeros, and the grade R's now. So all age groups up from the year that your child turns 3 years old, they are there for you. They've got their own little class, and the grade R class at this stage, Debbie, you must just nod, I think is quite full at this stage already as well. They're quite a big class, which says to us that we're going to have a great grade 1 group. So parents, yeah, in the pre-primary, one of the most important things for us is a playful approach. But it's so important that the playful approach will be meaningful play, Because these days play for a lot of parents and a lot of people is, here's your iPad, sit down and play. No, that's not what we do. So it is important that those children play meaningful at school. It enriches their learning and it develops so many key skills that is an absolute foundation and an absolute necessity before they can go to grade 1. We also try in the pre-primary, because that's exactly where it starts, to make sure that there's a lifelong love for learning. If your child goes to pre-primary and it's not a wonderful experience to them, they're going to hate school for the rest of their lives. So the other thing that's very important for us as well is the kinesthetic approach. They need to learn through their moving. And that is why when you maybe sometimes coming to a pre-primary, and that's the major difference usually between your pre and your primary school, is that there's movement. There's a lot of talking. Sometimes it seems like it's not disciplined, but it's not what it is. They are learning, those little ones, as they move, as they speak, as they play, as they run. The perception, the perceptual learning, very important. It makes sense for a child. When they start learning, they need to make sense of what they see, what they hear, what they feel, what they taste, and what they smell. And they can only do that through playing. So yes, we've got the little classes there, as I mentioned. Our language of instruction is English. I would like to mention it, even in the pre-primary school, they'll start with a tiny little bit of Afrikaans as well, because that is the second language that they do in the primary school. But obviously it won't be hours of their day, maybe just a little bit of counting, just greeting, but to get them going in their second language, as a second language is compulsory and is necessary for primary school. So we've only got the English classes in the pre-primary school. We would like to just say, you know what, the only person that can really sell the school, or the only person that can tell you, Mommy, I want to go, is your child. So we would like to invite you and say, come and have a look. And they can spend a day. We appreciate that, and we prefer that you come and you bring your child, and they'll go home and say, Mommy, I liked it, or I didn't. And all we need is a mommy that can go to work in the mornings and say, I'm dropping my child somewhere because I'm happy, my child's happy. I can go and work, come back, pick up, fetch my child again. So yeah, in short, that is what we believe in. In our grade R year, I don't know what the age group are of the parents attending at the moment. In our grade R year, we start in the second half of the year to focus on the Cambridge curriculum. We follow the phonographics sounds program with our children, so that we know when they go to grade 1 that only a certain quantity of sounds that they know already. And then reading, parents, as you know, one of the most important skills for a child to be able to do when they get to grade 1. We do not force children to read. We make sure that it comes naturally. And we start with pre-reading skills, pre-writing skills, all the sounds, everything, and it develops at different stages for each child. You get quite early in grade 1 that a child, or sometimes earlier, can start reading, but do not push your child with anything. Not reading, not writing, not doing sums, because there's steps that they have to go through before they are physically, emotionally, everything ready for that specific stage or phase. So yeah, we focus on Cambridge, the last half of grade R, and then we make sure by asking parents and requesting from parents to do a school readiness test. That is for the benefit of the child and for the information of parent, teacher currently grade R, teacher going when they go to grade 1, just to see where there's areas that a child needs additional assistance, so that the pre-primary teacher or the grade R teacher can still make sure that they are sure that everything's sorted out before they go to grade 1. If not, the grade 1 teacher knows where to pick up from and carry on from. So from my side at this stage, Debbie, if you want to, I do not understand sign language, but if you want to type something quickly, we can add. Or if there's any questions from parents, that would be great to answer that.
I can see Debbie's typing there. No questions from my side as yet.
Parents, maybe you would also like to know regarding the school hours. Debbie, I think you started 6:45 with the little ones, or is it 6:30? But I can promise you there's a staff member on duty from 7 o'clock, definitely. If I say staff member, it will be an academic staff member. Earlier, there might just be a teacher or an assistant that is just there for the children to just look after them if you need to drop them a little bit earlier. At this stage, we follow all protocols with COVID, obviously. As you'll know with the little ones, not always that easy, but the most fortunate part is that we don't have masses and masses of children, so it makes it so much easier. So we are back at school every day, 5 days a week. We don't have to phase in because our social distancing is more than enough in the classes. And we've got our sanitizers, fogging of classes, and the social distance is perfect. And then the academic day for the little ones ends at 1 o'clock. That is the last, let's say the last hour or so that the teacher then spends with, the academic class teacher spends with her children. And then after that, there's an aftercare. Debbie can maybe just assist there with, I know there's a bit of lunch for them that can be provided. It is at additional cost. That's correct. She says additional cost. And then parents, we also have bus transport. Although I usually say for those little ones, especially your 3, 4, 5-year-olds, if you can drop them, obviously that's first prize. If it's not necessary, we wouldn't like them to be on a school bus. And Louise, you can maybe just have a look at Debbie's chat.
Yes, and then we've got a question, a nice question that's warmed up there on the grade R side. I'm just going to read Debbie's comments, and then we'll move over to the question. We aim to develop a love for reading. By the time the grade ones leave round 1, they are comfortable with reading, which enables the child to focus on other aspects of English. Our 3-year-old will be starting on the 1st of November. And he is not talking yet. Are there any interventions? Second, is the bus going to be provided after school? That's one question from I would assume, grade 4-0 parent.
Wonderful, great. The 1st of November already. That's great news for us. It's going to be an exciting month for your little one. Let's start with the bus. I'm 100% sure the bus will be available. You can just double check that with the school. I do not do anything regarding the bus arrangements, but Debbie, please just follow up for us on that for us on Monday, so that you can just inform the afternoon drop-off. I'm sure with Ndondana and the school bus, everything should be possible. If you've completed the form and you've requested that, it shouldn't be a problem.
I think... Yeah, sorry. The best is that the parent complete the bus request form, which is available on the website under About Us, and then we can take it from there. It really depends on where the drop-off and pickup would be. So the bus request we can get back on, definitely.
Not a problem. That's great. The talking. Well, you've made the right choice. Get your child to school as soon as possible, because how is he or she going to start learning and hearing other children talking and speaking? So I must say at this stage, let your child get to school. They learn through play, as I've said. We've had children entering a school who couldn't speak a word of English. And then I'm not even saying they're speaking Afrikaans, they're speaking another foreign language, not even one of our South African languages. And within months, they started speaking, and they've got a fantastic vocabulary now. So that's very important. I think get him there. Let's start. Let's have a look. Obviously, they'll be singing. They'll be saying little poems. They'll be doing puppet shows. And that is exactly how your child's going to start to pick up on the language and start speaking. And then in an environment where there's not a mommy that doesn't even maybe ask and just do for them, because they're going to realize if I need something, I need to ask for something. They're going to play, and it might be that the vocabulary is not that expanded in the beginning, but I'm sure within a few weeks, you'll see a major difference. And then Debbie, I know, and you can just acknowledge that as well, should we feel at a stage it's necessary, your next step of intervention will then be speech therapy. I'm 100% sure of that, but we can't say that right now. Let's first give your child the opportunity, see how it goes before we go to the next step. The teacher might, from her side, just give you a few little things. And I can just from my side say to you, never stop communicating with your child. Ask questions. Ask questions and wait for a response and an answer. Don't answer on behalf of your child. And then obviously start reading to your child. You can't, any age, any child, you can't let your child go to bed in the evenings if you haven't read a story to them. Over and over and over again. You might lie in bed and read with your closed eyes because you know that book off by heart, but they want to hear it again and again. And after you've read the book, you ask the questions. So stay calm, be calm, give your child the opportunity to just mingle with the other children, and let's see what happens from there.
Thank you for that. Just to move on to the grade R question there. Good morning. I'd also like to know what the teacher's child ratio is and how many children are in grade R class.
Okay. The ratio, let me start off by saying what the maximum ratio will be. We do not exceed 20 children to one teacher. Currently, Debbie, I know you've enrolled quite a few new ones. Are there 16 currently? Not. Can you just tell us quickly how many, Debbie, because I don't want to lie. I'm not 100% sure. I know there's been quite a few new enrollments. But Mommy, as I said, even from, there's 14. We have 14 grade R's currently. I can say and tell you on a very great level, those grade R's. I was extremely impressed the other day if I hear what they say, what they speak, what they read. There's one that is absolutely a fantastic reader. They are children with so much confidence. So this group of 14 will go over to grade 1 then for next year. I always say 20, but I promise you without, and don't take me for it, and don't come back and say that's what I said, we try our best in the pre-primary not to exceed 18 children. But obviously we can't say no to a number 19 and a number 20, but we won't exceed 20 children to one teacher.
Thank you for that. And just to that comment that Debbie made there is quite good to hear as well. Yes, we focus a lot on auditory skills, which is a prerequisite for language development. We are aware that for many children, English is a second language. Thus, we assist the children through building their vocabulary. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Right, thanks, Debbie.
And then just to thank you for the parent there on the ratio question. I do have an email here. I see parents that couldn't attend. They had 6 questions, so I'm going to go ahead and ask this live as well. What will be the maximum numbers of kids per class? And they've got a grade 4-0 and a 4-year-old.
Okay. I think, and Louise, we can stick to the 18, maximum 20, but on the 4-year-olds, once again, should we exceed 13, 14, and not even over that, even less than that, there's a full-time assistant with that teacher as well. And all depending on our class. My personal opinion is the class won't really take 18 because we need the children to move around and they need their little area to sleep and they've got their little bathroom in their class. So yeah, I don't want to commit and say 15 and then we're 16, but I can just tell you it will not exceed 18 in the pre-primary. And then with those 4-year-olds, there's an assistant with the teacher. So it means it's 2 people with your quantity of children in your class. But currently they are quite far from there. If I'm not mistaken, Debbie, as well, if you want to maybe confirm your quantities in the classes there, they're definitely not close to 10 in a class. And then Anne-Louise can just, for the sake of the recording, maybe just put the voice to my answer if Debbie is... as if Debbie has typed it. Speed it up, Debbie.
There we go. Currently we have 14 grade R. Okay, that was that one. Grade 3-0s, 4-0s are currently 8 students. and grade 206.
Good.
Yeah, so very
Obviously,
small
we'd
class.
love to get them over 10. It's just good for the children as well. The more friends, the merrier they are, and the nicer it is for the teacher and the students. So yeah, let's hope we exceed 10 for next year.
Then we've got some more questions here. I think you would definitely be able to answer these. What is the general structure of the day for activities, learning and eating?
Okay, and Louise, maybe I can just, if I'm going to try and share my screen quickly, then I can just get that. We can just show that to the parents. Okay. So that is approximately, if we take a little a wheel, can you see it, Anne Louise? Am I okay there? All right. If we start there at approximately the 12 o'clock, obviously we get to school in the mornings, and the most important is that morning routine. Routine in a child's life overall, extremely, extremely important. So it is the time when it's indoor play time, it's circle time, and it's Bible time. That all depends mostly when it gets to circle time on the little ones, because even as young as they are, they've got news, they've got something they would like to tell their teacher. It's also the time that the teacher just needs to calm them down. But before that, they do have a little breakfast. They get their breakfast served to them. They even, as young as they are, get the opportunity to say, I'm the one that's serving breakfast this morning, or I'm the one that's laying the table this morning. And then they sit down, say their little prayer, and they start with their breakfast. After that, it will be their little Bible story, and then their circle time when they just sit and share and start their morning together. Then, as I said, being that it's important that it should be a very playful approach, it's the gross motor development time of the morning. By that time, they are from inside to outside on their playing equipment, the jungle gyms, maybe more structured play regarding what the teacher has planned for them, but they know which gross motor development to do. And it's not always necessary that that should be done outside. Most of it, or lots of it, can also happen inside because it's so important. Then they've got their fine motor development. Now, if your little one's fine motor, depending obviously on the age, if that fine motor skills aren't developed, then they're going to start struggling when it gets higher up into their formal education. But yeah, there's so many different kind of activities that they can do, from just playing with normal clay. They've got their little scissors that they cut with. They sometimes just tear paper. They sometimes go outside and take crayons, and then they write on the walls with a specific chalk, and on the cement. There's so many things, sorting of rice. So whatever they can do on their fine motor development, that then happens. And then obviously those little ones, tired, exhausted, and then they've got their sleeping time. And while I'm there with sleeping time, please keep in mind, you need to send them a little blanket, their little pillow. They've got their little beds at school. And then those blankets and pillowcases will be sent home to you on a weekly basis to wash, and then you send it back again on the Monday. And yeah, that's also a very important time. We also learn that they teach the little ones that that is the time when you relax. You get, the older the children get, they sometimes don't want to sleep, but they know, if I don't want to sleep, I still need to lie on my little mattress or on my little bed. I need to be quiet. I need to respect the other children sleeping. There's always lovely soft music playing for the little ones. It's a very important part of their daily routine. And then obviously, as once again, depending after they've woken up and so on, then it's the mathematical and the scientific skill development stage that we have to do. So obviously our teachers have got their curriculum. They're all qualified teachers. They know exactly what mathematical skills and scientific skills they need to teach those little ones. So yes, if your little one comes home, they start knowing their colors, their shapes, mixing water with a bit of sugar, then you must know they've been doing a bit of science, and they're busy with maths in class. Obviously, their construction play is important at that stage as well, the building of the blocks, using shapes to build specific pictures. It's so easy for a parent to sometimes say, but my child knows all his or her shapes, knows it's a triangle and a square and a circle, but have they tried to build pictures and put all those shapes together to build a motor car or to build a lovely little human figure or whatever. So yeah, that's the stage when they do things like that. Then there's perceptual development, and that's what I said earlier. There they focus on the visual, the auditory, the tactile, the taste, and the smell. That's also when they do a lot of baking, and they eat what they've made, and they've mixed, and they've done whatever they could. They colored their clay, their Play-Doh, and then we go over to that pre-reading skills stage. And as Debbie said previously, we are extremely focused on reading. Parents, it is a very, very important aspect of your child's life. I always explain to the primary school parents as well, you can just these days push a button and get an answer on everything. But if you can't read, you can't get the answer. So we're not saying we're going to push your child to read at the age of 3 or 4, but we need to start developing the love for reading. Because what happens these days is you'll get mommies in primary schools that says, but my child doesn't like reading. He doesn't want, or she doesn't want to read. And that is such an important phase in your child's life. And that's exactly what the teachers do. They make your child want to read. They give them the courage to read as well. They get them so excited that they want to read. So if your child gets home with a little book, and there's not one word written in that book, there's only pictures, and he or she opens the book and she starts reading to you, but she's actually telling, or he's telling his or her own story, what's happening. Listen and sit with your child and make sure that you encourage him or her, that you praise him or her, tell him how clever and how wonderful. And then the other thing, parents, unfortunately, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, they need to see you as an example of somebody that loves reading. Are you the parent, mommy and daddy, who takes 5 or 10 minutes a day, sitting in this somewhere, even if it's just under in the shade under a tree outside, each one, daddy maybe with his newspaper in his hand, maybe an iPad as well, it doesn't matter, but we are reading together. Your child sitting next to you, we're all quiet, we are reading. They need to see the example from teachers, from parents who loves reading. And they do quite a lot, and really a lot for the pre-reading skills since very, very early age. And then there's a snack time. You're the parent that has to pack that little snack for the children. Obviously, always a healthy snack, please. It's a rule in the schools everywhere, and in a pre-primary, only on Fridays, sweets and cold drink allowed. During the week, Mondays to Thursdays, healthy snacks. You know what your child eats. You must pack that. The teachers make sure they eat their lunch or their little snack. If not, they'll be in contact with you, but obviously you'll see what's left in the lunch tin as well. And then they drink a lot of water. And then they've got their free time, play time. That is what they love the most. That is when they start playing wherever they want, the choice of what they prefer, their preference. If it's playing girls dressing with little fantasy clothes, wearing high heel shoes, walking around in class, or if it's building blocks or building puzzles. Everything is there, it's for them, it's there for them, and they can make their choice. But as you see, it's guided free play. So teachers having a good look at what's happening, assisting where necessary. And then I've got bathroom routine, and it seems like it's the only time that they go to the bathroom, which is not true, but I've got bathroom routine in there just to tell you. That happens during the day, and that is where the assistance comes in quite a lot as well, and where we teach the children. We sometimes, because they can't remember, they play and enjoy themselves so much, they don't even realize they need to go to the bathroom. There's certain set out times where they go as a group, teacher takes them with the assistant, go to the bathroom, and go through the full routine of, now we need to wash our hands, you go into your bathroom or your little toilet cubicle on your own. When you get out, first you flush your toilet, you wash your little hands. So we go through all of those processes, even before COVID. That was a part of something that we've always been doing. And that happens quite frequently, quite often. If necessary, we do have the assistants and the teachers who's great assisting your child with potty training when they're still very, very young. But we don't want a child to go to grade 3 zeros and they are still on nappies. That is important. So we need, obviously, the help and the assistance of the parents. And then we've got art. Art time is the painting, the crayons, the wax crayons, the chalk, whatever they can use, and where they also give the children the opportunity to cut. So between the art and the fine motor development, those two works together quite a lot, and it also just gives the children time to relax and to just be free when they start doing their art. And then when that art goes home, you must also, even if you can't see what's going on there, ask your child, what did you draw there? Yeah, and if they say it's a flower, then you rave about that little flower. If they say, Mommy, that's me that you see there, then you go mad and you say, yes, and where's your eyes and where's your ears? And you just acknowledge whatever the child's been drawing, and you just tell him or her how fantastic it is. And I really hope you're going to go through the phases of your child with Ruimsig, where you can, in a few years' time, go back to their first art and say, wow, just look where they started and where they are at the moment. And then story time before they go home, before some of the mommies collect and fetch children. That is the time, like it should be in your house as well, before you go to bed in the evenings, that we just sit down, relax, calm down, play nice soft music usually, read the children a story. They have to keep quiet, they have to listen to the story, ask questions to the little ones, and just get them calm before they go home. Obviously, story time, which also tells you it is the place and the time where they teach the children to love reading, which is, as Debbie also mentioned, so important for all of us. So yeah, that seems like a lot. It took me a few minutes to explain it to you, but you can just imagine how long it takes a child or a teacher, and how much a child takes in one school day, because that happens daily in a pre-primary school. Obviously, we know the length of a child's concentration, and that also then differs from younger age up higher, how long they spend on each one of these. Maybe go through this whole program almost twice a day, because it's shorter bits that they do in between and not 10, 15 minutes. But that is what your child will get exposed to during one full school day. Thank you, and Louise.
Thank you, Lynn. And then just a comment here from Debbie on the side, just to, I think, round it off there. We use Phonographic program to teach the children to read and write. This program teaches a child the skills which they need to read and write. The grade 1 program includes creative writing and comprehensive tests.
I'm so glad you're a good typist. So great. I was talking, you were typing. Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Then I've just got one or two parents that also, for some reason, couldn't join. They asked questions here. If a teacher is absent, would there be another teacher available, or would the child need to stay home that day? It's a pre-primary parent.
Without a doubt, luckily, there's always an assistant, but we wouldn't like to just leave the assistant alone. At schools, we usually have a list of teachers that we can call, it's our relief teachers, and we try our best to get hold of somebody to come in, but we'll not expect your child to stay at home, not at all, but we will, on our side, make sure there is good and excellent supervision, and they can carry on with their daily routine. It doesn't have to change at all. Teacher's preparation is there. If we get this good relief teacher in, she walks in, she might be an hour or so late because we've just called her at 7 o'clock and said you must be in, and she just needs to get dressed. She's there, she opens up the teacher's preparation, and then she carries on with a normal day. Nothing should change. And what's nice about it, it's usually the same kind of pool of teachers that we draw from, so the children will know them as well. But we'll make a plan, and shouldn't we or couldn't we, we'll divide them into the next age group, but we always try our best to keep them in their own class and have somebody looking after them. Obviously, if it's just for a day, it's fine. Should it be longer due to a big operation or something, we will get in a full-time teacher for that period that the actual teacher is not at school. So no, we'll never ask you to keep your children at home. Promise. Even if I go and sit in the class, I will do that. Or Debbie will leave her grade ones. I'll take them, and then Debbie can go to the little ones. We'll be there for your child.
Okay, wonderful. And then just some COVID-related questions here. What is the COVID-19 protocol for kids? Do they wear masks all day, or is a shield recommended?
We really, at the school, due to the quantity of children you've seen, 6, 8, and then 14 in the grade R's, I mean, it's not a lot of children. So first of all, your child arrives at school with his her mask or their shield. We've seen with the little ones in the class, they really prefer the shield. It is just easier for them to breathe as well. They do take off the mask. But you must please keep in mind with these little ones, if the social distancing, which we have in some of the classes, are far more than 2 meters apart even, the teacher will ask and tell the children, you may take off your mask in class. But as soon as they get together and they work a little bit closer, because they may be just sitting, building a puzzle, playing with blocks, the child will put their mask on. We prefer to ask you as a pre-primary school parent, please pack in, if they come to school with a shield, pack in an extra mask in the suitcase as well, because it depends. When they start going outside and running and playing, the mask obviously is so much better than the shield. So we would prefer both, if you don't mind as a parent, or depending if your child can't, there's little ones that really do not wear a mask because they can't. Please, it's not necessary, then we'll make sure that your child wears her shield during the day. But if they wear shields, send a mask. If they wear masks, send at least a spare mask in the suitcase as well. We sanitize more than often. We take temperatures in the morning and during the day, and should there be a problem, we'll inform parents immediately.
Wonderful, thank you. And then just one last question on the emails here, and then I would like to invite our attendees to ask their questions as well. Is the earliest drop off only at 7 a.m. in the morning? I don't know if Debbie should answer that.
Debbie, you must. I think it's easy earlier. It's at 6:30, but I don't want to lie now and say 6:30 and then there's not a teacher. But I'm sure it's early at Ruimsig. Debbie, just confirm it with us.
We're testing your typing skills there.
Debbie, it's the numbers, not the words, numerals. She's smiling at her own typing error. We won't check your spelling, Debbie.
Just to answer that, and then we will take our next question there. The gate opens at 6:45. Academic school starts at 8. So at 6:45 then.
6:45, that's right. And when Debbie says academics day starts at 8, that just means that is when the children physically go to their own class where they sit with their teacher. So when they're there earlier, they are combined as a group of children. They arrive, they go to the pre-primary school, there's a specific teacher on duty, an assistant looking after them. They might start having their little breakfast. I'm not 100% sure about that, but there's somebody looking after them. Yes, Debbie nods and says that's true. There's somebody there, and then even earlier than 8 o'clock, I can promise you the teachers are there, the academic teachers, but they might just need to be doing 1 or 2 little things before the physical day starts with their own children in their own class, which is 8 o'clock. But I can, parents from my side, also know I would like to ask you as parents, try not to drop your child later than 8. If you can't, 8:30, but please, I know how it frustrates the teachers. They prefer to have their little ones all together at a stage and at a certain time and start following their daily routine. So by 8, please. Debbie, there's a little thing from you as well. Thanks, Anne-Louise.
Kids get tea and biscuits if they arrive early, just as a snack. And then breakfast is served at 8:15. So
right.
That would be the cereal, the selection, I think, is 7 cereals. Am I right?
It's cereal, yogurt, fruit. And then in winter, warmer porridge if necessary. We just have a look at what the children prefer. And then that is what we serve them, yeah.
Then the next question here, I'd like to enroll my daughter for grade R in 2022. By when should I apply and register, if I may answer that?
You may. Thanks, Anne-Louise.
You can start with your application form. It's just a one-pager. It's available under applications to Ruimsig on the website. However, we will only schedule the class observation assessment next year early for you, just to be fair towards the student, but you can put his name down so long for grade R. I think that would be a good planning for yourself. That's from my side. I see that's all of the questions on the Q&A and on the emails that I've got. So I think let's maybe end off the session, and I would like our parents then, especially those applying to grade R, maybe to attend the junior primary session as well, which is the next one. You can send me an email if you do need the link for the next session. That's all from my side, and thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
So just the recording of this session will be available on YouTube. Unfortunately, can't live stream for some reason this morning, but I will upload it later on today. Thank you. Have a great Saturday.